What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Free Lady Show. I know I've been kind of not consistent in the last month. I've missed 2 weeks in the last month just because I'm here to tell you a little bit about what's going on in my world. Now, Daniel and I have been really going heavy and hard on our new businesses, and it's been wonderful. We have got to experience the growth and the education and the lessons and things that we're learning as we're growing individually and as we're growing together. At the same time, I have really kind of been burnt out on the podcast, and I'm here to tell you why. It's not anything to do with you. It's not anything to do with anyone, right? I just am a little burnt out. I've been doing this podcast for a year and a half, and I absolutely love it. I know that sounds like a double-edged sword, but it's true. I do love doing this podcast. I love interviewing people and hearing people's stories of winning at their life. It brings me so much joy. But what I don't know is my podcast really reaching out to all the people that I really wanted to reach out to. There's so much mental health going on in this world. There's so much darkness, and my podcast is here to bring a light to our world, to you as an individual. And so I need your help. I want to know if my podcast is something that you look forward to every single week, that you learn from it, that you share with others. See, and I know I've had so many people reach out to me about my podcast and let me know how much it has helped them, and they've subscribed and they watch it and stuff like that. But at the same time, I'm like, who else? Like, who else am I helping? I need to know these things, you know? And so I also want to say that, like, with my business and everything, I want to talk a little about all the businesses that I have going on right now. So I launched a coaching group back in August called the Freedom Den. And it is a place where I have built a community where we all can listen to each other, as myself as the leader and Daniel as a leader in this coaching group. We are there to teach you how to love yourself. I believe if you don't love everything about you, and you don't really love, like, in here, in your soul, in your mind and body and soul, you'll never really truly be successful in all aspects of life, which is your mind, your body, your business, and your relationships. In order for those to be successful, the most important relationship that you have to encompass is yourself and God. So I have that on Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. If you want to know and more information, go to my Instagram page. It is in the link. You can click on the link. It's $47 a month. And the community is growing, and it's just a beautiful thing that is happening because it's not just me leading. It's not just, Daniel leading. We're all interactive with each other, and we're creating a really cool space to be vulnerable and share our thoughts and share our feelings, to grow, to learn how to love ourselves. So those are Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. On Wednesday nights, I have another coaching call with my coaches, my relationship coaching group, Resolutions, with Scott and Ann Travis. Daniel and I have been in there, as you know, from the last podcast that was posted, for a year now. And we look forward to it every single Wednesday. And just like their community of vulnerability and just showing up for yourself as an individual and as a couple, that community is amazing. It's my favorite community to be a part of. And that's what I want my coaching group to be, get to that level as well. So I have that on Wednesday nights, and then I usually record on Thursdays. So it's just a lot, and it's nothing I can't handle. But starting a new business, getting clientele, my evenings are taken, and I need that to have more availability for my clients during those weeks. So my thought is I don't want this podcast to end. I want it to continue, which either means I'm going to take a break or I'm just going to record when I feel like it. It might not be every single Monday, but it will be every other Monday or whenever Monday I can get a handle on. My other business I just started is I started making feather earrings. They are so much fun for me, like to get my hands into something and be creative as I'm building my clientele. It has been such a joy. I started playing around with feather earrings about 6 years ago for myself. And I thought I got that feeling again. Like I wear them all the time and I get compliments all the time with my feather earrings. So I was like, why not make them? Especially doing hair, if a client wants to add more pops of color, that's a great way to add a color to your hair or an outfit or just going out or just wearing something fun. I'm telling you, you guys, the compliments I get wearing the feather earrings and the look of them, and it just makes everything so much more spicier in a good way. So I had those 3 little things going on and, including this podcast. So that's 4 things going on. And I just want to make sure that I am doing you service by having this podcast for you. And I want to make sure that I'm doing my self-service and growing my business appropriately. So before I moved here, I was just recording podcasts whenever. But with my schedule, Thursdays has kind of been the day that works the best. And as my schedule gets busier in the salon, I'll be able to kind of, do podcasts anytime, because right now I'm working Monday through Friday. And, I want to be able to be open and available to my clients as much as possible. So with that said, I also have other questions. My other questions are, do you want to be on my podcast? Do you want to share your story? This platform is made for everybody. And I really want that to be known, because just because it's a podcast and it might be scary because it's out there in the world doesn't mean that you can't be on it. Anyone is allowed to be on my podcast, as long as we have a good conversation before that and, you fit the show. Because this show is all about telling your story of how you got out of a situation in your life and have become the person that you are today, loving yourself. So with that said, if you guys want to be on my podcast, please let me know. Do you guys want to see more episodes like this, where it's just me talking about life, talking about things that, I'm going through this week? And the Freedom Den, the topic was healing from loss. I have lost a lot of people at 40 years old, and I just lost someone dear to me on Sunday. And I recognize that part of healing from loss is really sticking to loving who you are through that process, because it's so easy to revert back to our old ways because we're in so much pain that we lose ourselves. And it was a good reminder in a really, really hard and sad time to recognize that message that I needed to share about how to heal from loss was really important. I lost my dad when I was 23. I lost my grandma about 4 or 5 years ago. I have lost friends to cancer who are my age. I have lost just people around me that I've known. It's just a lot, you know what I mean? And, you always think like, oh, I'll be like, 70 or 80 when people start passing away. Like, no. So it's just really good to talk about it, to prepare mentally of how you get through it, even though you could never, ever, ever prepare for loss. Never. And there's no right or wrong way of grieving, but it was just important to coach that to my peers. So, I can continue to talk about those kinds of topics by myself with you guys. And, hopefully you can gain a nugget and learn something and take it with you and hold on to it, because that's what this podcast is all about. This podcast is for you, you know, even though through this podcast, I have grown so much. So this podcast is for me too. I'm a completely different person from when this podcast started. And I like that. I hope I'm a completely different person from a year from now, because I just want to continue to grow in the light and share this light of knowledge with you and myself. And it's so different when I look back on my first episode, I'm like this, I'm like this close in front of like gym equipment. I have no idea what's going on. I'm filming the episode, on my phone, and I'm just speaking through the heart. Now, when you watch that episode, it's a lot of times like people think that I'm going through that right now. Well, no, that was just a story that I had to share. Because if I'm sharing other people's stories and I'm not sharing mine, what does that make me, right? So that story was in the past, and it was a story of triumph, because I healed from all those wounds that I had. And today I am very grateful that I can be that vulnerable with myself and you. So that it is okay to open up to somebody, to a therapist, to your partner, to your inner circle of friends, and start opening up to learn how to heal and learn how to love yourself. It's not easy to hear these stories. It's not. But my life today, like I love my life today. I love Daniel. He is the most amazing man I've ever met in my life. And I'm excited for this family to grow. I love my family so, so much. And I hope, our relationships continue to grow or start a new type of relationship with each other. And I am just holding space and grace for those people that, aren't talking to me right now and maybe will someday, because I love so hard. And I want my family to be all about love. I want you guys to be all about love and light, and knowing that God has your back, and knowing that the energy around you, you create that. You get to decide what your room is going to look like. Do we have to work hard for those things? Yes. Is it hard to learn to love yourself? Yes. I had a girl in my first coaching call in the Freedom Den. She asked me, she goes, Brittany, how long did it take you to love yourself? And I was like, 12 years. Because I really started to open up at around like 27, 28 years old. I fell into very, very deep depression at 17, and that continued all the way until I was 27, 28 years old. But that was because I finally was like, I'm done being depressed. I'm done binge drinking. I'm done being a victim. I'm done blaming others. You know what I mean? And even though like there are people that really cause me a lot of pain, it doesn't mean that they're bad people. It means that they still have a healing journey to go on. And that is okay. I can still love those people, and I do so much. And when I started to, work out and be around better people, that's when my healing journey really started. And it really did take 12 years, because, you learn so many things about yourself in this process of like wanting to love what you look like in the mirror. I had such like body dysmorphia for so long, and sometimes it trickles back in. It do. But that's natural. It's okay. I still will look in the mirror and say, your body is banging, you're beautiful, and you got this. you are okay and you are enough. I still do these things, you guys. It's never going to not go away. I'm just better at them. You know what I mean? And that's what life is all about, of becoming better, especially when things are good. How can we be better in this moment? So, like I said, you guys, I need your help. I want to know. I want you guys to comment. Please comment. In the YouTube bubble, there's a box that says comment. If I post this part of, an Instagram, just FYI, my phone is totally messed up. I had to spend all day through all the stuff I was doing yesterday with Apple. And so after, trying so many things, I had to order a new phone. I have Apple Care. If you guys have Apple, pay for Apple Care, because they're going to send you a new one. You don't have to pay for it, which is so nice, because there is definitely something wrong. So I can't, upload videos right now on Instagram. So I've been trying to upload this particular these questions in a video, because I did record a podcast last week, and unfortunately one of the mics, not my mic, the other mic, was turned off by accident. It totally happens. We're totally human. But it was such a great podcast. I was like, oh man. But the clips of me, when my friend Skylar was asking me a question, even though I was interviewing him, was a wonderful way to connect and share, my coaching group and everything like that. And it was so insightful to hear, because it was like, this is it. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I want. This is my mission. And I need to know if my mission is successful. And like I said, people tell me all the time that this podcast is amazing, but I need to hear more. I need to hear more. I need you guys to comment. I need you guys to interact and share, what you want from me. What do you want to hear? What kind of topics do you want to hear? Who do you want me to have on my podcast? Do you want to be on my podcast? So it's things like that. My other thing is, Daniel and I have been talking about this, because, he's kind of burnt out too. We're both so focused on our careers right now, and our relationship, and our family. And those are not in any particular order, but we're really, really focused and driven to having those things be very successful in love and light under God, because family and our relationship is what's going to make the magic happen in our businesses, and the relationships around that, and the inner circles that we have, and broadening that. So we thought, would you guys like us to have our podcast together? And again, that might not air every single week. It might be bi-weekly. It might be once a month. We don't want you to get sick of us. But we actually really love doing podcasts together, because our lives are so intertwined, and I'm in my lane and he's in his lane, but we're on the same road, and we're tackling this life and this relationship together. And it's such a beautiful thing. And we're in an amazing place right now. I feel like, these last, especially these last 3 months of ups and downs, and planting seeds and growing and learning, it has been such a beautiful experience of really shedding our armor off. And it's just really cool. And you guys that have been married for a long time, and that you're with your soulmate for life, you know what I'm talking about. And because Daniel and I have always only been together for a year, we know nothing about long-term marriage. I mean, he does. He used to be married for 20 years. And so he knows that side. I don't, but we do have a place where we can come and understand each other, and understand past relationships and what we learned, and how we can bring that to the table with the tools that we have from all those relationships, and bring, what we're great at and what we're not great at together. And that's what we're building, you guys. So please let us know. I think Daniel posted a podcast last week on the same topic of kind of like, what do you guys want to see? So we want to hear from you because we love you and we don't want to totally stop the podcast, but we might just have to do what works for us right now to be focused on family, our relationship, and our businesses. So with that said, y'all, I just felt like my whole body was just like, you got to get online right now. I just got back from work and you got to talk to them. So, because Daniel's birthday is coming up, and when you guys hear this, his birthday has already happened. And so I'm very excited to celebrate with him this weekend, which means I probably wouldn't have time to do this. Just being honest. So let me know what you guys think. And let me know how like I can improve this podcast or, when I do drop episodes and things like that. So with that said, I love you guys. I hope you guys have an amazing Monday. Set up your week for success. Set up your day, set up your month, set up your quarterly parts of the year to success. And if you need help, ask. We're here to help you. We love you guys, and I will see you later. Take care.